What's going on, everybody? This is John Stark. Just want to let you know I'm chopping it up with Buck.
So, man, it's great to have the one and only John Starks, the guy that could talk trash but could play with the best of them. And John and I have been trying to get together. We know a good mutual friend, Mike Gardner, who has kind of put us together. And Mike and I got to know each other in Indy, and he's gotten to know John. And John, it's great to have you on, man. How you doing?
It's good to be here. I'm doing great.
Yeah.
Just enjoying the off season now, unfortunately, but it was a good run.
Well, let me ask you about that because I know you're still involved with the Knicks in some way, shape, or form. What what has been what has that been like to actually watch this young team kind of get back to where you guys were in your heyday, back in those battles that y'all used to have in the NBA playoffs?
It's been fun, man. Just to watch the growth of the team this year. Adding obviously Jalen Brunson has been a huge blessing for this organization and for this team. The young man came in here and just put on a show all year long. He got kind of, to me, he got robbed not making the All Star team this year, but he just didn't, whenever you have a leader such as him, and he grew up around the game, obviously because of his father, Rick. And, he just got that old soul, the way he plays, the way he leads. Obviously, he was a two-time national champion in college at Villanova, and he just bringing that experience and that heart that he plays with to the Knicks, and so it's been great.
You go right to that, but I'm gonna take you all the way back. Talk about growing up in Tulsa. I'm a Texas kid, so I know been around the guys from Oklahoma. Tell us a little bit about your journey and what got you to the NBA, but just through Tulsa Central High School, all those things that you had to go through because it wasn't easy for you. I mean, you had a journey, my man.
Yeah, I did have a journey. It was a tough road, but I got a lot out of it. I learned a lot along the way. Just the struggles that myself and my family went through, just trying to make ends meet. And I was very fortunate that I was blessed with some talent and gave me an opportunity to live out my dream of playing basketball ever since I was 7 years old. I wasn't recruited coming out of high school, so I had to go to junior college route. And my first couple of years wasn't too great of years because of my immaturity. And I was able to, get myself together once I got left the second college, but I got kicked out of second college. I was able to get myself and grow a little bit. I ended up getting married during that time and got a new focus. I had my son back in 86, 87. And, it gave me a whole perspective on life, so I had to grow up pretty, it's something when you don't have any responsibility and you just go out there and you just, you know, trying to live life, but you're not really doing the things that you're supposed to be doing in life to be successful. And I finally had to gather myself and I was able to do that and became a junior college All-American once I enrolled back in school. Got offer from Oklahoma State, coach by the name of Leonard Hamilton, who's the Florida State coach now. Was my coach.
Great coach, great guy.
Yes, he is. And Bill Self was my assistant coach, actually. He's the one that really was out there recruiting me when I was in junior college. And I ended up having a successful year at Oklahoma State and end up not getting drafted, but end up getting the opportunity to play for the San Antonio Spurs. Coach Larry Brown, who was at Kansas at the time, and they won the national championship that year with Danny Manning. He ended up taking a job at San Antonio Spurs, and he liked what he saw in me, obviously because we played against him so much. He gave me opportunity to come in and try out, and I made the most of it. You know what I mean? All those hard
wanted to take you back to college, whether it was Rogers State or Northern Oklahoma College, or when you were going through that. Who, besides your wife and your son, Tulsa Junior College, when you were going through those trials and tribulations, who was most influential? What person or what made you? Because we see this happening all the time, where people have
Mm-hmm.
hit a certain point, and they don't need yes people around them. They need people to tell them, no, this is what you need to do. And who was that person for you?
Well, that was my older brother.
Okay.
My brother, who's the second oldest, I should say, Vince Monty. We call him Monty. His name is Vincent. But he was a football player, and so during that time off from college, in between college, we used to get up every morning and just go play basketball at the local gyms, and we'd be there most of the day playing. And he used to take me to go work out, and then we'd play 1-on-1. And you can imagine me playing against a football player.
That's why
Those
you. That's
those
why you.
battles were so. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, those battles was it was rough, and it was a mental block that I had because I was a better basketball player than him, but he was my older brother,
I
so
got.
I wouldn't go as hard against him, and he started roughing me up and told me that I had to get through him if I'm
Mm,
going to be anything. And I finally beat him for the first
mm,
time, and he couldn't beat me no more after that.
mm.
And he just put that drive in me, and so I was very fortunate that he was there in the early stages and part of my life and pushing me.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I mean, everybody remembers you for the dunk that you actually had. This was a 25-year anniversary, right? Or is that about
30 year,
30
30
years?
year anniversary.
Man,
Yes,
where did the time go?
I
Uh,
know, right?
yeah. What's interesting about that, you actually tried to go up and dunk on Pat when you first got to New York, huh? You just said, I'm gonna dunk on you, you know?
Yeah. Well, that was the last day of training camp, veteran
Oh,
training camp, and so I needed to make a statement that I wanted to be here. I
uh,
had a great preseason, but I
okay.
wasn't sure if they was going to keep me or not. And so I treated that last day of practice like it was a playoff game. And I came in there, and I mean, I was on fire the whole day. And
Yeah.
I saw an opportunity to go dunk on Patrick to really, make myself stand out. And just forgot he was 7 foot and could jump at the time. So he ended up catching my dunk, and I came down and twisted my knee, which I thought I had tore it up, and he did too. He felt bad,
Mm,
but it was a blessing in disguise because they put me on IR, and I didn't know at the time when they put you on IR, they couldn't cut you, and
yeah.
so it made their job a lot easier because they always tell me we wasn't gonna cut you, but who knows? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They say it,
Yeah.
but who knows? But it was a blessing in disguise. So I got a chance to stick around, and finally in December I was ready to come out. Actually, I was about ready to go in there and tell them either take me off IR or just let me go. And
Yeah.
Trent Tucker ended up getting hurt the game. The
Yeah.
day I was gonna go in there and tell him, and gave me opportunity to come out IR. And my first game was against Michael and the Chicago Bulls, and that
Okay.
was a thrill, because he's the guy who I looked up to, coming
Hmm.
up, and like so many young players. And so I was excited to play against him, and I had a real good game against him. So, and that's when I really knew that okay, I'm ready.
Now, it's interesting. Going back to Michael, there's always talk about, it's kind of like Bob Gibson in baseball. You're not supposed to say
Hmm.
this, you're not supposed to do this. I'm sure you guys were all like, because y'all were tough. Anthony Mason,
Yeah.
Charles Oakley. I mean, y'all had a squad that even if you weren't a Knicks fan, being a football player, I loved how y'all played the game. I'm gonna just be
Yes.
put it. But what was it about Michael that tough to elevate your game?
It just the way we played, you know what I mean? Coach Riley had us like some mad dogs out there on the court. So, no matter who we faced, we was gonna play that way regardless. We had a
Mm,
lot of respect for Michael, obviously, because of who he was
mm,
and what he has accomplished within this league. But it wasn't him above us. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So we went and treated him like he was any other player, but we knew that he wasn't any other player. We had to lift our game to play against the Bulls. They had a squad. They had you know another Hall of Famer and Scottie Pippen on their team and Horace Grant and B.J. Armstrong. They had a little crew there, and so
Yeah, yeah.
but one common denominator is that black cat. He was hard to deal with most of the time, but we battled them and we put up had some great games, and those series against Chicago's were some of the most fun, exciting series that I ever played in.
Okay. Well, the other part to that is, when you think about it, one of the big play we just talked about, the dunk, was against the Knicks, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you did it on Horace Grant with the left hand, which still I'm impressed with lefty, and I know how hard that is because you were a right-handed shooter, right? Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
yeah. You went up left-handed, and I mean it was a flush. Tell us about that. And I think people always ask about big plays when you make them. Was it quite a moment when it happened?
Yeah, it just happened. I saw something that they was doing far as playing me and Patrick pick and roll. When Patrick come over set a pick, BJ would play the play. He would kind of look at my eyes and knew the pick was coming, and he would jump to my high side. And then normally, whoever's guarding Patrick would be on the baseline, so they like to funnel me to the baseline and trap me. That particular play, when I was coming down, I was kind of slow dragging him down the court. And when I got in position, I saw Bill Cartwright was out of position. He was still high, and BJ had his back to him, so he didn't realize he wasn't in position. So I cut
Okay.
my eyes early, and he did exactly what I thought he was going to do. He jumped to my high side. Patrick came. Patrick came over there and gave him a little shove, and I
Okay.
just took off baseline, and all I saw was Horace Grant. I knew I had to go in strong.
Yeah.
Horace is about 6'10", about 270.
And he was cotton
So I,
strong too. He wasn't no,
yeah, yeah. No, he
fiery.
wasn't no little. No,
Yeah.
no, no. And so I just jumped with everything I had inside of me. But I jumped better going that way, with my left,
Hmm.
for whatever reason. Most, right-handers like going right hand and coming off too. I like going, right and coming off my coming with my left hand. And it was just a spectacular play. It put us up by 5. The game wasn't over yet, but the garden just like exploded, and it was like the loudest I ever heard it. And you know, ran back down court and went to the bench trying to look up, catch the play, couldn't catch the play. I didn't know until I saw the picture the next day, sitting down reading the newspaper, and saw who was on the back end of that play. And it
Yeah.
was Michael, because you never, never, never catch him in unpredictable like that. And but that's just Michael being Michael. He knew he couldn't get to the play. He just went up and tried to block it. He probably wish he wouldn't have never jumped. I know that now, because when I see him sometimes he'll tell me I never dunked on him, but I tell him I got a big face. Said
Yeah.
I did. So he got part of it. Horse got the brunt of it, but he
Yeah.
got some of it too.
Well, the other thing, there's a big rivalry that you guys have, the Bulls. But you and Reggie Miller go at it. I was in
Yeah,
Indy, played in Indy for 5 years. I went to school with Reggie.
yeah. Me and Michael had like a healthy competitiveness
Yeah.
to our competition. Me and Reggie was more combative,
Yeah.
because that was just how Reggie was. And as a as a young player, he was trying his best to like get inside my head.
Yeah. Yeah.
And because guys was doing that to him when he first came in the league, and
Hmm.
that's how the league was. You got tested as
Hmm.
a young player to see where you was at as a young player, and so for me, I had to gain my respect, and you know, I gained it that one game and game number 3 when I headbutted him, because he was shooting elbows at me, the whole game, and I was telling the referee,
Yeah.
and he didn't want to do anything about it. So where I'm from, you take care of your business, and I had to take care of that business. But I always say after that particular play, never had any more problems with Reggie for the rest of my career. You
Now,
know,
when y'all see each other now,
we're cordial. You know what I mean. We ain't gonna start slapping one another. You know what I
Yeah,
mean. I
yeah.
speak to him. He speak to me.
Oh,
You know,
well,
we're not
sometimes,
going.
man,
We
those rivals are hard to let go because I got some brothers that I'll see and I'll dap them up, but I'm not. We ain't lingering too long.
exactly how it is. You know, he knows that. You know what I mean. The crazy thing about it, Indiana was built just like us. You know what I
Yes,
mean. You
exactly.
look at Rick Smith, like Patrick Ewing. You look at the Davis
Mhm.
boy, Oak and Mace. You look at myself, Reggie,
Yeah,
the point guards. You could easily drop that team in New York and drop us in Indiana, and you couldn't tell the difference,
that's
other than
exactly.
the name on the back. So that's probably why we didn't like them, and that's probably why they didn't like us. So yeah.
Well, we're going to take a short break. We're going to come back because I really want to hear about some of the things. This is awesome. We'll be right back on Chopping It Up with Buck.
At Heslop Wealth Advisors, our goal is to help small businesses develop quality retirement plans for their employees through our Lunch and Learn seminars. We provide lunch and learning tools to help your company succeed and unmatched customer service.
I want to ask you about one guy who I think gets a lot of credit, but I don't think he gets enough credit being as great as he was. Hakeem Olajuwon. I'm a Houston
Oh
guy, so
yeah.
I grew up when he was with the Phi Slamma Jamma, but then also watching him in the league. Tell because guys still go to him for post game, John.
He he was just a great player, man. He was special because of his size at 6'10", and he could move like a cat, and he was very agile. Uh, he do everything out there on the court. He developed an outside shot.
Mm,
I think Kobe even went to him for post moves too.
yep.
But he was just special, man. There's only three players that Patrick ever heard him talk about
Mm,
that he respected the most out of everybody. That was Akeem, David Robinson, excuse me, Akeem, Tim Duncan, and who was the other dude? And Shaq.
okay.
You know what I mean? Those are like the three guys that he respected the most,
Okay.
and never heard anything. He never had anything bad to say about neither one of them. You know what I mean? And Akeem was just, I wish he was a little shorter because he wouldn't have got his hands on that shot. I have me a championship,
I got
but and that agile.
you. Yeah.
But he was just special, man. You couldn't get inside his head or anything like that. He just kept coming at you. You know what I
Mm,
mean? And
mm.
and just he was just a special player.
Who was the one guy that you always had? I mean, didn't get, maybe gave you problems and everybody else that we don't know about, or just somebody that was off the radar, but you knew when you played them, you had to be ready that night.
Well, there's a couple of guys. Mitch Richmond is one of them. I came in the league with Mitch at Golden State.
Yeah.
They called him the Hammer, and he was a big guard. He's 6'5", about 220, 230.
Oh,
And those guys always gave me trouble because of the size and their weight, and as well as Clyde Drexler.
mm,
Drexler was 6'7", can jump out the gym, can shoot it, can handle. He had everything in his game. Those guys always gave me trouble because of their size.
yeah. Well, John, you were known as a defensive guy, then you became. I mean, your offensive game improved. What do you see with the NBA game now compared to when you were playing, and some of the things that you've kind of watched? Like a lot of people probably expected the Lakers and the Celtics to be in the championship, but that
Mm-hmm.
the Nuggets are definitely a team that played well, and like maybe out of the East, it won't be Miami, but that Heat team uh,
Yeah.
better than anybody because of Pat Riley and Spoelstra and that the legacy there. About
Mm-hmm.
now and just some of the things with the playoffs and championships that you watch.
Well, it's a little different because it's more of a wide open game. Unlike the only team really play inside is Denver. Obviously with Djokovic, you know what I mean, because he's such a dominant force down low, and you know most big guys they want to do what we do, go out, step outside and shoot the ball, but that's not what he wants to do. He want to be down that post, making things happen down there, and me personally, I think no one can stop them right now because of what he has around him, the type of players he has. He has shooters. He had those gritty players like Bruce Brown. Guys like that. They dismantle LA, which I didn't think they could do,
Yeah.
with LeBron and Davis and LA had, Austin. He came and Austin Reeves showed his butt out in these playoffs, earned them a lot of money. I can tell you that now. So, but I didn't think they would beat them for. I felt that Denver probably would beat them, but not like what they did. They dismantled LA, and the game has changed obviously
Yeah.
because it's more of an outside game, more
Mm.
so than it is an inside game. Back during our day, everybody had low post players,
Hmm.
and it's not that way no more. Only a couple of teams like Philly and Denver. Obviously, I thought my Milwaukee did a horrible job of using their
Yeah.
height and
Yeah.
as far as being
Yeah.
down on that post.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why the coach is gone.
That's true.
So they get you fired. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, you know things happen,
Yeah.
and so you have to just you know move on from it. And but I think the game has during the playoffs they let you play a little bit more. Let me just say
Yeah.
that they let you play a lot more. They let you get a little bit more aggressive. It gets back to the old ways of playing, and I like seeing that because it's exciting. We can get that way during the season. You'll see
Mhm.
more exciting, close games and battles to the end. Like these teams, when they feel that they defeated, they just like they quit, and
Yeah. Yeah.
that's why
Yeah.
you see these blowouts. Like I was just talking to some of my former players, teammates,
Uh,
and we were saying, you think back in the '90s, you never saw blowouts during the playoffs. A blowout during the playoffs was like at the end of the game where
mm,
the game is close, then all of a sudden team may run off, 8 points and beat you by 10, 12, something like that, but
yeah.
never 20, 30 point blowouts. That
Well,
that never happened.
well, John, I want to ask you too, man. I don't know if you know John or know his people, and you had some struggles in junior college. But
Mm-hmm.
anytime, I always tell people that people don't know what's going on in folks' inner circle. They don't.
Yeah,
They don't. Know what's
yeah.
going on.
Mm-hmm.
But just from your observations, and maybe you have spoken to him, how is he going to turn this around and get him some? Because the kid's got a lot of talent, and I
Mm-hmm.
hate to see it not be fully developed to the degree that it can.
Yeah, I always say he reminds me of AI so much, but he's
Mm,
AI 2.0. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
He can
yeah.
jump out the gym. One thing he's gonna have to learn is stop flying in there because that's gonna get you hurt. Like it got him hurt during the playoffs.
Yeah, yeah.
He's like 6'2", 6'3". I don't know how tall he is, but weighing a buck 50, buck 60 seems like, and that'll get you hurt. I got a lesson from the late great Derek Smith when I first came in the league, and me and him had the same agent, and we used to work out during the summer, and I used to fly in there do the same thing he did. He told me, he said, you got to stop that because it's going to get you hurt in the league. You got to start going off of two and pulling up. You know what I mean? Uh, to be able to brace yourself. But he tries to do the spectacular too much.
Okay.
There's a time to do that when you got open space. But when you come flying in there, back in our day, he definitely would be in the hospital because
Yeah,
those
yeah.
guys
Oh,
wasn't
yeah.
old Mace. You may do it once, but next time you come down
Yeah,
and you try that again, you're gonna be on your back. There's
that's
no question about it. But the kid is talented, ultra talented. I think he's just dealing with some problems right now, mental problems that he had to deal with, or it
mhm,
could be social problems. I'm not sure, but I think his father really have to, you know,
mm.
be a father.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? He
yeah.
really have to be a
Yeah.
father to him and let him know that he got a lot to lose. I
Mhm,
mean, a lot to lose. You know
yeah.
what I mean? The league is not going to put up with the antics, and they will show you what the league is about. If you keep it up. You know what I mean? But I think he got a chance to, correct himself. But it's going to truly be up to him, and he got to get around the right people.
Yeah.
Whoever's his inner circle. You know what I mean? I tell all these young players when I get a chance to speak to them, and one thing I respect about LeBron is how he brought guys up to his level. You
That's
know what I
exactly.
mean?
Yeah.
You at a different level in life, and so you have to bring guys up to your level. You want
Mm,
them to, still be your boys and what have you. That's cool, but they have to come up to your level because you have a lot to lose. They don't have a lot to lose. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you know, you get kicked out this league and all of a
yeah.
sudden you back in the neighborhood, they gonna like, man, I tried to tell him. You know what I
Mm,
mean? No,
yeah.
you ain't trying
Yeah.
to tell him. You trying to go and live
Yeah.
his life. You know what
Well,
I mean? But
yeah. I
I,
had a
I res-
coach
go ahead.
early that told me, there's very few eagles. You see them soaring real high, right?
Yeah,
Above thing, but there's a lot of chickens down there.
yeah, bro. Yeah. So he have to understand that. I think
Mm,
LeBron got a movie out about his life. You know what I mean? And I think he need to sit down there and watch that. You know what I mean? Because LeBron showed you if you want to keep your friends around you and what have you, this what you have to do. You know what
okay.
I mean? And he put them all in school and got them educated. And now
Hmm.
look at him. Look at Rich Paul. Look what
Yeah.
he doing. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? So
Yeah.
that's just a prime example of what you have to do in order to, bring these, your boys up to your level. Let them,
Yeah.
stay down there. If that's what you want to do, okay. I see you when I see you, but I can't be out there doing what I'm doing because I got people I have to take care of and $200 some million on the table. I just don't get it. 200
Boy.
million dollars on the table, man. You can lose that just like that.
Well, we were talking about friends. One of our mutual friends, Mike Gardner, who has 10 Energies, sponsors our show, but you and he are close, golf tournaments. We just got to talk a little bit about your relationship with Mike and mine as well. This energy drink is actually on point. Every time
Yeah,
I
it is.
day, it's hydration, but it's also I love beverage with benefits. Tell me a little bit about your relationship with the Thin Energy Hydration folks and Mike and how that what that has done for you and how you feel about it.
No, it's been great. I met Mike up here in Connecticut at a boat show in Bridgeport, and he came up to me and told me he got a bone to pick with me, and what have you. You know how Mike is.
Yeah,
He's not shy. He's
no,
not shy. And he was telling me about this drink, and he gave it to me, and I drunk it. I like, man, this is
mm,
good. And I called him about a week later. You know what I mean? And say, yeah, I want to get involved in this, man. You know, plant based too. That's right up my alley.
yeah,
And it does do all what it say it do. You know what I mean? It gives you energy. I tell them all the time, it's like I could drink that in the morning. I don't have to eat until 12, 1 o'clock. You know what I
exactly.
mean? So it helps.
It
It,
almost forces you into what is it the new phase, intermittent fasting. Because if I
yes,
morning, I'm not eating, man, until noon. I got to
yeah,
make my eat. Yeah, yeah,
exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And so is we're doing some great things. Obviously we're in Publix and we're getting ready to open up some stores up here where I'm at in the New York area and Price Choppers. So we're excited about that. So the growth has been steady and fast.
Mm-hmm.
We had to kind of watch ourselves because we're growing too fast. But that's always a good thing to have. You know what I mean? So I'm excited about where this company is going and Mike and what he does and the leadership that he brings to this company is just amazing. So I'm all on board. As well
Well,
as we had Derek Brooks,
yeah, yeah.
former
There
Tampa
goes
Bay Hall of Famer,
Dominique Dawes is involved.
Dominic Dawes, yeah, involved, and so it's been great, man. More and more we get it out there, it's flying off the shelves. Wherever we put it at, people are like just loving it. So I'm excited about where we're headed.
Well, we'll have to come to one of the events and a golf tournament definitely
Yeah.
and spend time with you, man, because that'll be good. I have a we'll close you out with the 2 minute drill. We
Okay.
like football, your brother plays, so
Yes.
if it's
I'm a
no.
big Steeler fan. I'm a big
Oh,
Steeler fan.
okay,
Still a nation. Still a nation.
I got, I got you. Well, what's the music in your Spotify or Apple Music? What do you
hmm Well, I go all kinds of genre. I listen to rap when I want to be upbeat. When I want to be mellow, I listen to jazz. When I
Okay.
just want to be soulful, I'm R&B. So I'm old school rap though.
I got
Not new
yeah,
rap,
yeah.
but old
We're
school
in the
rap.
same frame.
Yeah,
Tupac,
yeah,
but
yeah,
big.
exactly, exactly.
Good, good. Well, make it easy to move down the field. The next one, you said plant-based. Are you still eating meat at all, or you giving it up all
I,
the way?
not all the way, but I probably once, maybe a week. You know what
Okay,
I mean? I eat a lot of chicken, a lot of
okay.
baked chicken, a lot of
So
fish.
I
You
was
know what
going
I
to
mean?
ask for chicken. Which one do you like, or what's your go-to now?
My wife, she cooks this nice little glazed chicken that she cooks, and I just like, man, I can't get enough of that. Sometimes I have to stop her from cooking,
I can
every week.
smell it over here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But you know, I just love just trying to eat healthy
Yeah.
and making sure that I watch my weight. It's funny because I was just talking to Larry Johnson, and I was
Mm,
telling guys like ourselves who's 6 feet and up, you really have to watch your weight as you get older. You have to drop weight.
yeah.
You look at all these tall guys. Then you see them like guys like Kareem, like Robert Parrish, even my boy Herb Williams. They all drop weight. You know what I
Mm,
mean? Because it's hard for your heart to pump. You know
yeah.
what I mean? As you get
Bad
older,
on your
and you
heart,
got
your joints,
bad
all.
on your heart. Yeah, yeah. So I try to tell all my guys, it's important that you drop weight. So I'm like pushing like 215 right now. I want to get down to about 205, but I drop that during the summer because I play so much golf. So it's
All right.
just that winter weight. You know how that winter weight get on you up here. Yeah, it stays with you,
Well,
and
I'm
so
on mine too. So when I see you,
yeah,
hopefully
there you go.
I'll play. Last
Gotcha.
for me, so because you're getting it down the field nice and easy here. You're on your boat, so I was going to ask you mountains or water, but I know that's water.
Definitely, definitely.
What's the one
But it,
story? What's the one story that's never been told about John Starks? Never. I mean, people don't know about John.
ooh, man. Oh, well, it's probably when I was a roofer.
Mm, you a
Yeah,
roof?
I was a roofer coming out of college. I was in between, getting ready to go to training camp for San Antonio Spurs, and so I
Okay.
was just leaving college, and I had my wife and my son, so I
Okay.
needed a job, and I had to put food on the table, and so I was fortunate enough to get a job at Empire Roofing in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and
Mm,
the first thing we had to do is go up and walk like 6-inch steel planks. And myself and a guy by the name of Richard Dumas. I don't know if you remember Richard Dumas. He played in the NBA.
yeah, I
And
remember.
yeah, he grew up in Tulsa. He was a little
Okay.
younger.
Okay.
And so we got a job, and the first day on the job, we had to walk these 6-inch, you know, steel beams. And he got up, he's 6'8", so he's further up. And he got up and took 2 steps, said, I can't do this. So he ended up quitting. He's like,
Okay.
I'm done. Yeah, he didn't even go across the beam. I said, I thought about it too, because we was up high. I'm
Yeah.
like, man, I got a wife and kids. I'm going to walk this plank right here. So I walked across it. I said, okay. And I was just walking slow. You know what I mean? Then eventually, as I continued to get used to them, it was just like it was you walking on the floor. You know what I mean? So
It's
I would
crazy.
just like scoot across some things like it wasn't nothing. And I almost fell off. I was putting on these tin roofs, and
Oh.
it was raining, and I slipped through the patio, and I caught myself like that, and I was hanging on, and I put my other arm up there and pulled myself back up, and
Wow.
my coworker said, "You need to get off the camp and get out of here." You know what I mean? Luckily, we only had like a couple more weeks before camp, and
But
yeah, if I would have fell through there, it was nothing but concrete. I was like 30 feet up. I would have probably broke my legs or broke my back or something.
God,
But I was like, I think about that, and it's like how quickly that could have
yeah.
like ended my career.
Man, that's awesome. Well, John, it's been great having you on Chopping It Up with Buck, man. We appreciate it. It's been too long. We'll do it again, especially since I know you love
Yes, sir.
We'll do it around Thin Energy, Hydration, and Mike. And there'll be a lot of trash talking because I know that's
yeah, he talks a lot. Let me just tell you.
All right, thanks a lot.
All right, Charles. Appreciate you, bro.